What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Miss Charlotte Tilbury has just dropped the Summer of Lovegasm collection. I have two of the products from this collection that I will be reviewing for you all today. First up, I have the re-released Lovegasm Facepalette, and then I also have the brand new Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pingasm Sunset. I've got some daylight applications for you all, letting you know if this is going to be fair skin friendly, medium skin friendly, deep skin friendly. I also have some swatches and comparisons of all of the Beauty Light Wands in this video, so if you want to hear all my thoughts, then keep watching. All right, party people, let's get into this. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. I will be linking all these products, anything that is on my face, in the description box down below so that you know where to shop this release. And if you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Sophia and I am a complete luxury beauty addict. I upload new videos and reviews every single week, so consider joining our fam by subscribing to my channel. Now let's talk about the Summer of Lovegasm collection. A lot of us were pretty confused by this collection. There were some sneak peeks, and the biggest reason why we were confused is because the main piece of this collection is this face palette, which is called Lovegasm. Now, I will tell you all, this palette, it's not new. This is, if you've been a Charlotte Tilbury fan for a couple of years now, a re-release of a collection that Charlotte Tilbury did a couple of years ago. It was called, I believe, just the Glowgasm collection. There were two palettes. There was a light medium palette, and then there was a medium deep palette. This is the medium deep palette, which is called Lovegasm, and this is the one that is re-released as a part of this collection. I don't have the new palette. I have the one from a couple of years ago, because they are the same palette, same formula as far as I'm concerned, same packaging, same colors. I don't think they reformulated this, friends. For some reason, they are re-releasing just the deep palette. If you wanted the light one, unfortunately, you're out of luck, but I know that a lot of you all are pretty excited because you missed out on this release the first time it came around, and now you can pick it up, which is great. Let's talk about what is in this palette. First off, I will show you guys the beautiful packaging. It's really nice. It feels really luxe. I love the beautiful sort of watercolor, ethereal look to the front of it. I think it might be my favorite Charlotte Tilbury packaging that I have out of all of the face palettes that she's done. So bravo, Charlotte Tilbury, you brought it back. It's still really good. Opening up the palette, we have four beautiful baked Gelee products. First in the corner, we have a beautiful golden highlight. Then we have a coral multi-glow. Then we have a little bit of a lighter coral pop blush. Both the multi-glow and the pop blush, they're really just glowy blushes. And then in the corner there, of course, we have the bronzer. Let me show you all some daylight swatches so you can see what these look like swatched on my skin tone. Notice how the blushes, they are very glowy. You'll see in the demo how these apply to my face. And this palette is designed for medium to deep skin tones, so you are getting a little bit more richness here than we did obviously in the lighter palette that was released previously, and maybe compared to some of Charlotte Tilbury's other palettes that she has released in the past. The product in this bronzer that concerns people the most usually is the bronzer, so I do want to cut to a quick comparison for you all right here so you can get a sense of the tone. So right here, friends, I have the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer that is swatched there on the left, and then I have the NARS Laguna Talc Free Bronzer in the shade 01. Then I have the Tom Ford Terra Bronzer, and then I have the Gucci bronzer in the first shade, which is called Fair. It's definitely not as light and neutral as the Tom Ford and the Gucci, but it's pretty similar, maybe just a little bit darker than the NARS Laguna 01. So I feel like this tone, it has a little bit of warmth to it, but it's fairly neutral, and it has, I guess, I would say maybe a medium depth. It's definitely not deep. I don't think it's going to work for those of you out there that have a very deep skin tone, but at its full opacity, it's not really that much darker than the NARS Laguna 01. It has the same exact tone, which makes me think that it's going to be a pretty friendly undertone for a lot of folks out there. This palette retails for $75. It is made in Italy. It is available on the Charlotte Tilbury website. Looking at the website right now, it says new and exclusive. So to me, that means that it's not going to be showing up at Sephora or at any other retailers. So that's where you're going to have to pick up this palette. I will keep you all updated. Make sure you are subscribed and follow me on Instagram. If I see it pop up somewhere else, if it becomes not exclusive at any point within the next couple weeks or this summer. I will have all of that linked down below. Now let's talk about the new beauty light wand in the shade Pingasm Sunset. This retails for $42. It also says new and exclusive on the Charlotte Tilbury website, and this is described as a radiant pink. I think it looks more like a bright coral. I don't know, comment down below and you guys let me know. It's kind of a cross between maybe a coral and a pink. And I'm gonna cut to a quick comparison right now with all of the beauty light wands so that you can see the differences between those tones. And then here in Natural Light, friends, I have the new Pingasm Sunset swatched on both sides. And from the top, we have Pinkgasm, Peachgasm, Pillowtalk Medium, we have Spotlight, and then we have Glowgasm. I think that the new Pingasm Sunset, it kind of looks like a mix between the Pillowtalk Medium and the Pinkgasm. Like, it's sort of like they added a little bit of pink to that already very sort of nude, slightly warm tone bronzy shade that you get from the Pillowtalk Medium. So it's definitely different from all of them, but I do think that you could maybe mix some of these and get something a little bit similar. All right, friends, let's get these products on my face. I am going to do a full look on the face and eyes using the Lovegasm palette, but because this product is new, the Pingasm Sunset, I do want to go in with this first to show you guys what this looks like without any of these blushes and whatnot from the palette, so you can kind of see it stand alone. I know a lot of you all are wondering if this is going to be fair skin friendly, and I want to show you what it looks like with no bronzers and other blushes on the face. So let's get this on the face first. I'm just going to do 2 little dots. I personally like to go in with a little angled brush and just blend it in. And this is gonna be more like a blush on my skin tone. If you are a deeper skin tone, it'll probably be a little bit more like a highlight, but I still think it'll show up on deeper skin tone with that sort of blushy effect. See the glow that it sort of gives right there? And there you have it, friends. This is the Pingasm Sunset. I think it looks beautiful. I'll sort of turn to the side so you can see how it gives off a little bit of glow, but when you sheer it out, it can be very fair skin friendly. It can be deep skin friendly. In fact, let's build it up just a little bit more on this side of the face and see what we get from that, because I do find that these products tend to be buildable. I think that this is the perfect summertime shade. It's not quite a pink, it's not quite a coral, it's a little bit in between. And per usual, these beauty light wands, they blend out like a dream. They're very easy to work with in my opinion. So there you can see what it looks like with 2 coats, and this is with 1 coat. So if you were afraid that this was maybe gonna be a little bit too dark for you, have no fear. I think this is actually going to be a very versatile beauty light wand for a lot of people. So now that you guys have seen that, let me wipe this off and then we will do a full look with the Lovegasm palette. I'm back, I'm fresh faced, I am ready to do a full look using the Lovegasm palette. I do, by the way, film everything in natural light, and I will link down below a few of my foundation shades so that you can see what exactly is my tone along the spectrum. I'm one of the lightest shades on most foundation spectrums, but I still find that I can use this palette. I think what you'll see in this demonstration is that it really just depends on how vibrant of a blush you like. I am gonna start off with the bronzer. I feel like this is the most polarizing product in this palette, and I think it's because this formula is a baked formula, so it's a little bit harder to grab, but once you grab it with your brush, baked formulas actually go on the face in a really beautiful way, very seamless, and that's why a lot of times this formula is quite popular with a lot of brands. So I think the key here, friends, is that you kind of need to use a brush that's really good at picking up this product. One of my favorites is this buffer brush from BK Beauty. I will link all the brushes that I'm using down below. I will also link a couple more brushes that I think are appropriate for this type of product in the description box. And I like this because it's very dense and it's great for kind of buffing that baked product onto the skin. So I'm just gonna pick a little bit up with the brush and show you just how easy that is to apply. It's really not that bad at all. And this bronzer is very neutral. I'm not quite sure why a lot of people didn't like it. I think some people felt like maybe it looked a bit muddy on their skin. I think my one concern with this bronzer, to be honest with you, friends, is that I actually think that this is more for maybe light to medium, and the original lighter version of this palette was probably only good if you're kind of fair to light. I just don't really see this bronzer working for folks out there that have much deeper skin tones, because you can see right now, I think it looks pretty natural on my skin. I could definitely dig into this a little bit more. I'm just kind of swirling it like this, but I don't want to pick up too much. I honestly have never had any issues with this bronzer. So I think if you are fair or light or even medium, I think you could definitely get away with this. But if you have a deeper skin tone, I just don't really see this bronzer showing up on you. But you all can kind of see what that looks like on my skin tone. Let's dive into the blushes. Now, these are very glowy, and they definitely have some pigment to them. So if you are fair, you might want to use a lighter hand. If you are a medium skin tone, you don't have to worry. These are gonna show up on you. And just to give you guys a quick little overview right here, this is the darker blush, and then this is the lighter one. The lighter one could be a highlight shade for a lot of people. And then this is the Beauty Light Wand that I just demoed for you all. Notice how this is very similar to this blush right here. So they're not that far off, friends. If you really are just kind of into these blush tones, you might just want to pick up the Beauty Light Wand. But let me show you what these look like on the face. I like to usually start off with the sort of corally gold one because it is the lightest of the two. I'm using an angled brush, and I like to just sweep that across the cheeks and also up here on the temples to sort of connect the color and get a nice base, kind of like a nice blush base, because we'll go in with the darker one afterwards. I like to sort of take this one across the bridge of the nose as well, if you want kind of like that, you know, toasted, I've been out in the sun, a little bit of a sunburnt kind of look. And this is what the first blush looks like. I actually think it looks pretty natural. It's not as highlighty as you would expect. I definitely think that it looks like a blush, and I think it gives a really beautiful, healthy look to the face. So let's now go in with the darker of the two blushes. I think I'm gonna pick up a different shaped blush. This is the one I'm going in with right now. And this one, I like to put more, I put a little bit too much. You can see it's you can see it's very pigmented. I buffed it out. We're all good. These are pigmented. Even after having this palette for a few years, I still think that it performs really, really well. And so on this side of the cheek, I already kind of shared some from the last one, but we're gonna buff that into the skin as well. So this is what it looks like when I have both of the blushes applied. You could definitely see that that second one, it is a lot more vibrant and pigmented. And you also saw that when I went in with a denser brush like this one, this is the BK Beauty 111. It's called the Dense Bronzer Brush. See how densely packed those bristles are? You get so much more pigmentation than when I went in with this one, which is the Angie Hot and Flashy 507. It's a little lighter, it's a little wispier. So it really just depends on the brush. If you're having trouble picking up this product, like some people have said in the past, try taking a look at the brush that you are using, because that's really what is gonna dictate the pigmentation here. Because once it gets on the face and it's all blended out, I think it looks so beautiful and airbrushed and glowy. It definitely gives you quite a bit of glow. So if that's not what you're into, this whole collection probably isn't for you. But I do think that the color is customizable depending on the type of brush you use and how heavy-handed you are with the product. And lastly, for the face, I'm gonna go into the highlight shade. This is definitely quite golden. It's probably on the cusp of maybe being a little bit too dark of a highlight for me, but I think that when I layer it over the blushes, I think that it blends in quite well. And you all will see in just a second, this is gonna be a really good eyeshadow shade. So that is what that gold highlight looks like in natural light. I'll move back a little bit so you all can see. One of my favorite things about these palettes from Charlotte Tilbury is that you can use them in so many different ways. They're very versatile. They're a great travel companion. So not only do I like to put them on my face, but I also like to use these as eyeshadow palettes, because you got 4 shades. It's basically like a giant eyeshadow quad. So let's do a quick eye look using this. I like to start off with the bronzer in the crease. Just get like a nice little nude base in there. Now I'm gonna go in with the peach shade, and I'm gonna put that all over the lid. This is such a quick look. I normally can do this full look in, I don't know, a couple of minutes, and it always looks very pretty and summery. I'm also going to be taking the peach shade and I'm just going to pop that along the lower lash line. Next, I'm taking the deeper blush shade with a fluffy brush, and I like to use this one on the outer corner just to give a little bit, you know, of a pop of that beautiful coral. And then finally, I'm gonna go into the gold highlight, and I like to use this on the inner corner of the eye and also on the center of the eye. See that little pop of shine that it gives? This also, the gold, excellent one and done shade if you just want to whack that on. It's such an easy color to apply to the eyes. All right, friends, this is the final look with the palette on my face and also on my eyes. Comment down below and let me know what you think. All I did was add a little bit of mascara and some lip product. All of the products that I used on my face will be linked in the description box down below. Now, I want to get into my final thoughts, let you all know what I think of these products. Are they overpriced? Should you get them? Who are they for? Because I don't think that they are for everybody. Let's start off with the new Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm Sunset. I absolutely like this. It really suits my makeup preferences because I like more vibrant blushes, because I love warm tones. I like something with a little bit of glow. If you're not really into vibrant blushes or if you're not into glowy blushes, then obviously this isn't gonna be worth it for you. I feel like this shade was very much needed in the Beauty Light Wand range because we didn't have anything this deep and this vibrant before. And I like the fact that this is gonna work for a lot of skin tones. I do think it will work on the medium to deep people out there. And as you saw on my very pale skin, it works on me too. You just have to be a little bit more light-handed. But I think it blends itself. The formula is so good. I never feel like I go completely overboard with these Beauty Light Wands. They are expensive though. They're $42, which is why I like to review these. I like to do the swatches and the comparisons and the demos and everything so that you all can figure out if you're only gonna buy one of them, which one should you pick up? And this is, you know, this is the best one if you really like those vibrant, warm tones. If you want something that's super summery, then I think this one is really good. I also feel like I get a lot more longevity from these Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wands than I do from other brands. I have a lot of good dupes out there. You know, Rare Beauty has some really good options as well. Glossier has some good options. But if I'm being honest, this is still my favorite formula. I get the most pigmentation and longevity from these Charlotte Tilbury products. I also think that this is probably the best buy if you're looking at this palette and you're thinking to yourself, I don't really know if that bronzer is gonna work for me. I don't really know if I want all of these blushes. I think this highlight might be a little bit too deep for me. Then I think that this is a good option because as you guys saw in the demo, I showed you those swatches. This Beauty Light Wand is very, very similar to this blush right here, and it's arguably a little bit easier to work with. You could probably use a lighter hand if you're pale like me. So if you don't really feel like you need a full palette, this is $75, then you can always just pick this up. And this is a very versatile product as well. You can get a very similar look by just getting this rather than just getting the full palette. If you are lusting over this new shade, but you just can't bring yourself to pay the $42, I get it. It's pretty expensive for one product. I do want to show you guys real quick a more affordable option from Rare Beauty. I do at the end of the day like the Charlotte Tilbury ones a little bit better, but these are really good as well. These are the highlighters from Rare Beauty. They come with the little doe foot applicator, and this shade, I will link it down below. It's very, very similar. It's one of the deepest shades in the range. So here is the Charlotte Tilbury, and then here is the Rare Beauty. The Charlotte Tilbury one is more coral, has more of like that pinky undertone. And then the one from Rare Beauty has more of like a coppery tinge to it, but it's very similar once it gets on the face. If you want something that maybe gives a little bit more of like a bronze to the cheeks, then this one from Rare Beauty is really great, and it definitely is more affordable. They have other shades in the lineup as well, so I wanted to give you guys that as an affordable option also. Now let's talk about the Lovegasm palette. If you couldn't already tell, I also really like this. I've always liked it. I've had it for a couple of years. It has survived several declutters, if that gives you any indication as to how much I like it. I pretty much like most of the palettes that Charlotte Tilbury comes out with. I think that the packaging is absolutely beautiful. I love this pretty kind of, I don't know, tie-dye, watercolor type of effect. It feels luxurious. You know, you're paying $75. It feels very luxurious. And I also think $75 is a pretty decent value because you're getting 4 products in one. It's very versatile. I like the formula. I think the biggest things you need to take into consideration are, number one, these are baked products. So think about the brush that you're using to pick them up. If you're using like a little wispy brush, like a little squirrel hair brush, it's gonna be a bit difficult to pick up this product, but I love the way that it looks on my face once I get them on. I really don't have any issues because I sort of know how to work with this type of formula. But if, you know, maybe you don't have those brushes, you don't wanna pay for them, maybe you don't wanna bother with this, then this product might not be for you. The second thing is obviously the tones here. I am a little bit annoyed because I just don't understand why Charlotte Tilbury brought this specific palette out, but we didn't bring the light one back, and we still don't have a palette in this range that works for deeper skin tones. I think that for a lot of folks out there who have deeper skin tones, this bronzer, it just really doesn't work. I think it can suit, I'm fair, right? So I think it can suit sort of fair to medium, but then the blushes in the palette and also the highlighter to some extent are more for like a medium skin tone. I think that they look great on my skin tone. I like the way that they look, but I do think that there's going to be some of you out there who have fair skin that are probably gonna think that these are maybe a little bit too deep, a little bit too pigmented. Not everybody wants something where they have to be kind of light-handed or buff it in like you saw me do in the demo. Once again, I'm okay with that because I enjoy this aesthetic, but I think it's just a little bit weird, number one, that we only got 1 palette in the range. I would have liked to have seen 3 palettes released with 1 new darker version for deeper shades. Come on, Charlotte Tilbury. It's just a little bit strange, right? Comment down below and let me know what you think. And then also just kind of looking at this palette in and of itself, I think the dilemma that people have is the bronzer is a lot lighter than the rest of the shades in the palette. So I showed you guys what this looked like on my skin tone. I showed you guys the swatches and the comparisons. You have to decide for yourself if this is the kind of tone that you like. If you are more fair, are you okay with a vibrant blush? Because I am. And then if you are more tan, is this going to be deep enough for you, especially during this time of year? If you get tan in the summer and you go for a deeper bronzer, is this gonna be the best summertime palette for you? I'm not really sure. So I think that those are the questions that you need to ask yourself when looking at this palette, but I love this palette. I think it's great. This is a summertime staple for me. I've used it so many times and there's still a lot left and it still performs really, really well. So I absolutely recommend this. It just depends on the tones and the colors that you are looking for. All right, friends, that's all I got. I hope that this review was helpful for you all. Now it is your turn. Sound off in the comments down below and let me know, did you pick this up? Did you have this from years past like I did? A lot of you said that you were excited to see this come back because you missed out the first time, so now you're able to pick it up. So I'm happy for you all. But let me know what you think of this formula, if you got on with it well or if you didn't. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.